Good morning and welcome back to Insurance 101. I wanted to go over some questions that I guess I'm always getting being an insurance agent, and I want to tell you some of these things are highly annoying. So I am not that traditional insurance agent that says, "Oh yes, I understand," and then I sugarcoat it and I hold your hand. No, I'm 100% honest. Sometimes it comes across a little too brutally honest, so please forgive me, but I'm just here to actually just give you the facts and tell you what it is, and it is what it is. So one of the questions that I get all the time is, why is my neighbor's premium cheaper than mine? Well, first of all, I have to ask you, do you have the same exact social security number as your neighbor? Because if you don't, then stop it. You are not your neighbor. It's almost like when a kid compares and says, why is it that Johnny gets to do this and I don't get to do that? And in the words of my mother, do you want to go live in Johnny's house? Okay, so in reference to why is your neighbor's insurance premium cheaper than yours, you have to understand insurance is made like a suit. It is tailor made to fit you. So I cannot go and borrow the young girl's suit across the street that's a size 6 knowing that my hips and my thighs are a size 14. It's not going to work for me. So why is it that you think you should have the same exact insurance premium as someone who has a clean driving record, no tickets, no accidents, and they have a perfect credit score? But meanwhile, here it is, you don't have a perfect credit score. Every time you turn around, everything that you own is on your back, and that's all you care about. And so you basically get what you pay for. Okay, that's number one. So you have to also then say, what are the coverages that that person's carrying? Now, a lot of times people think that as long as I get the state minimum, then that's going to be, I'm going to pay cheaper than what my neighbor is paying. Well, that is actually a false myth, because insurance companies do not like people who decide that they are not going to protect their own self. Now, I always say, like I said in my auto insurance video, you have to make sure that your insurance coverages protect your assets. Now, if you don't own anything, if you don't own anything, no bank accounts, no home, no anything of that nature, and only thing you have is a gift card to Chipotle, then go ahead, carry the state minimum for all I'm concerned. But I do want you to know that if you ever decide that you're going to get anything in the future, someone can now attach themselves to your assets now and future earnings. So you still might want to think about that. Okay, so now I also get these parents who come in and they want to have insurance, but then they know that they have teenagers that are driving their vehicles. I am going to now let you know that the insurance companies have gotten very wise to that, because in the state of New York, there's something called permissive use. Permissive use means that, let's say I have a friend that comes over, they come over to my home and they need to borrow my car to go get milk, but they're not a resident of my household. If they take my car and on the way to go and get that milk, they get into an auto accident, then it would be covered underneath my insurance, because that is considered to be permissive use. Now, a lot of people and the insurance companies have gotten hip to knowing that the parents will have these children. You're so happy when they're born, but yet you don't want to pay for them. I don't get it. I really don't understand that. So the insurance companies are tired of losing money behind those people who decide that they're going to hide the kids. Okay, so what now is happening is your child gets into an accident. The insurance companies now say, okay, we don't have any record of this child, but now your child is now 17 years old. They get into an accident. Boom, they crash the vehicle. Now you go to the insurance company and you basically tell them whatever story it was that you want to tell them, and now you're trying to get your vehicle paid for. The insurance company now looks and says, okay, no problem, you do have collision on your vehicle, so technically we would pay out on the claim. However, because your son or your daughter was driving and we had no idea about your son or your daughter, what we now do is go all the way back to the date that your kid got their license. We'll go ahead and say, it would have cost X amount of dollars to cover that child. And then if you were, let's say, getting a claims check for, I'm just going to throw it out there, $5,000, boom, that wipes out your whole claims check, because now the insurance company keeps it, because they say, well, this is earned premium because you owed us from the time that your daughter got her license up until now, and you were not transparent about it. Okay, so lack of transparency is another thing that insurance companies do not like. Then another thing is being educated about your own coverages. If you don't know, then you ask, okay? So another one of those things is when your insurance broker actually says, hey, like for example, I'll give you an example. I had a young lady, this was earlier on in my career. She had a personal articles floater, and a personal articles floater is where she insured all her jewelry, her fine arts, she had jewelry, fine arts, and I want to say a nice rug collection, an antique rug collection that we were insuring for her. So she calls me and she sends me a picture. She calls me and says, I would like to take this brooch. And the brooch at that time, I believe, was about $150,000. It consisted of all these different stones. I mean, rubies, sapphires, black onyx, I remember, some diamonds were in there, so on and so forth. So this brooch cost $150,000. So she was taking it out of vault because she wanted to have the stones taken out and remade into a different piece. So I said, okay, fine, no problem. Now I said, I'm going to schedule this item on your policy, meaning while it's in the care, custody, and control of the dealer. I'm going to schedule it in the event that any stones fall out, the jeweler loses any of the stones, and so you would be reimbursed for them underneath your policy. That young lady decided to tell me she didn't know what rinky-dink jewelry shops I shopped at, but this is Harry Winston, the jeweler to the stars. So, of course, me being young earlier on in my career, I got to tell you, I didn't know who the heck Harry Winston is, but I know now. So, Harry, if you send me a piece of jewelry, I'm waiting. So she tells me that, that's exactly what she tells me. So then at that point, I want to tell you about 3 to 4 days later, she calls me crying, or maybe a week later. She calls me crying and she says to me that how distraught she is. And I said, why? Well, what happened, Mrs. So-and-so? So she says, oh my goodness, they lost $50,000 worth of stones in my brooch. So at that particular point in time, I had to tell her, do not be distraught. It is not covered. See, certain things when your insurance agent offers you certain coverages and says certain things to you, it's not just to get into your pocket. It's actually to show you the knowledge that they have and to actually warn you against pitfalls that could happen, because no one wants to see you waste your money on insurance and to tell you that something is not covered. So these are the little things that I have to, just say in reference to insurance. I guess there may be just little quirks. I'll give you some other examples. Like, people don't realize that when it comes to especially auto insurance, it's based upon statistics. Once again, I think I said that. But things that would affect your premium, which would be your social security number. In the event if you have kids, that does affect your premium depending on if they're teenagers. If you're married, they actually give you a married rate. So these are the different things that you might want to look for, and look for different discounts on the policy instead of saying what is the cheapest insurance. So instead of coming in there saying, hey, I just want auto insurance, say, hey, what's your discount for bundling my home and my auto? Or what's your discount for bundling my renters and my auto policy? Because just because you don't own the home, you still rent, where most people also think that in the event they are renting someplace, that their landlord's insurance policy is going to cover their things, and that is the lie. So in the event that that house goes up in flames, who's going to replace your contents? Who's going to replace that TV, your clothes, so on and so forth? Where are you going to stay? So I found that bundling my auto and having a renter's policy, actually, you get 2 policies for the price of 1. So these are just little things that you would never know that actually play a factor into your insurance. So I always say, when writing and obtaining an insurance policy, don't look to get an insurance policy for just to cover someone else or your basics, because what about you? I never protect anybody better than I protect myself. You know why? Because I love me. So On that note, I'm just going to say, everyone, have a great day. I hope that this video was very informational, or if you have any questions on what you would like for me to talk about, what you would like for me to expand upon. I think someone did send me a question in reference to homeowners policy and a roof. They have a problem with their roof and they want to know, would that be covered? I am going to release that video and I will let you know. But again, if this video was inspirational or just helpful to you, I should say, what I want you to do is make sure that you hit that like button. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe, and then that little bell so you'll get notifications of any time I post a video. I want everybody to have an amazing day, and I want you all to protect yourselves better than you protect anybody else out there, because you are your biggest asset. Have a great day.